What's up guys, this is Fred with Fred's Fine Autos. Today we're going to be replacing the fuel pump on my 1996 Camry Wagon. Here's the parts that we're going to be using, and let's get started. First we'll need to remove the driver's side rear seat. Press that down. These two plastic covers over the mounts. Pry up. Remove the two 12mm bolts. This will then just lift right up. Now do the passenger side. And take it out. Remove the seat belts with 14mm. Now the only thing stopping us from pulling the carpet back so we have access to the fuel pump is this bracket. So that's a 12mm. Use a ratchet because these ones are kind of rusty. At least to start it. To access the rear bolt on the bracket, fold down the passenger side seat, and I'm going to remove these two bolts. They're both 12mm. And that just slides right out. Put that back here for now. Now we have access to the bracket. That's another 12mm. Now the last bolt actually is under this seat. You could take it out if you want to, but if you can just fit a 12mm ratchet in there, it's not that hard to just reach it this way. So now, it might help to pull up this kick panel right here. We should be able to start pulling our carpet back. Alright, so just going to pull it as far as you can that way. Alright, now we have a fuel pump access hatch here. There are 3 number 2 Phillips screws. So that's what it looks like. I ended up just using a flathead to remove that. Remove the fuel cap to depressurize the system. This will absolutely be getting replaced. Look at that. Yeah, pretty bad. Alright, so I am pleasantly surprised that this isn't super rusty. To remove the connector, press the tab in, it should click, and then you're going to wiggle it upwards. Then you have your return hose. I like these 90-degree needle nose, they work pretty good. Clamp back. I don't think this is the OEM line. A little loose. And there's some fuel. And I just stuck a vacuum cap in there to keep it from dumping fuel everywhere while we're working on it. Next, we're going to remove this union right here. Now, we just got to remove this with our 14mm and 19mm flare wrenches. Alright, smacked my finger pretty good, but we got it with this to get a little more force on that wrench. Now remove our 8 number 2 Phillips screws. They're also 8mm, which might be a better idea given how long they've been on here. Yep, 8mm works a lot better. Alright, all the screws are removed. Now we can pull out the pump. So, because the seller told me it's been sitting at least a year, I'm going to go ahead and use my Harbor Freight special pump to remove all the old gas from this tank before we put our new pump in. Filling her up with some fresh non-ethanol 91. Alright, so here we have our fuel pump. I believe this is original. The sending unit says Denso on it, right there. So we're gonna go ahead and just take this old gasket off. Then pop the pump out. disconnect this connector, tab right here. All right, so the old pump is off. I'm going to save these because they are pretty nice. First, I'm just going to clean up the gasket sealing surface with a Scotch-Brite pad. Start with Denso for the replacement, and I have a OEM sock filter. Denso was the OE manufacturer of these pumps, so they seem to be pretty good. And they just come with everything you need. Go ahead and cut this to roughly the same length. So be right about there. And the sock filter just goes on like so. And as you can see, there's a little retaining clip. I'm just going to hammer that on. The Denso kit does come with that. All right, after much messing around with it, hitting with the socket, that clip is on. Then we have our insulator. Get our other hose clamp. Plug in our connector. And that is ready to go back in. All right, we're gonna take our new gasket, put it on the pump housing. Drop the pump in. Put our screws in. I think I am going to replace the filler neck, tank, and all the probably rusted return and fuel lines at some point. So I'm not even going to bother with using my nice brand new bolts for the housing. So the spec for those is 4 Newton meters, but I do not have a torque wrench that small, so just tight enough. Don't strip them out, they're really small, 6mm by 1 bolts. Now we're going to get our main fuel line union on here. Try not to cross thread it. That is a 14 and a 19. So get it nice and tight, because it's pretty tight on there. Probably good. Now we're gonna get our return line back on there. And plug in our connector. Alright, I lied. I actually do have a Harbor Freight torque wrench I just got, and the spec translates to 35 inch-pounds.
Can't really reach that low. Actually, this one is reachable.
And now we can just plug it back in. Put our number 2 Phillips screws back in. Put our clip for the harness back in. Let's go ahead and test it before we put everything back together. Install our new gasket. while I was in here, I wire wheeled and cleaned up these plugs. One here, one over here. I also cleaned up my seatbelt hardware a little bit. Now we're ready to reinstall it. Alright, so all I had to do was pull the carpet under this middle bracket again, get it tucked away under here. Went back in pretty easy. Now we're just going to reinstall our 3 12mm bolts in the seat mounting bracket. Install the passenger side seat back, 2 12mm bolts. Reinstall the driver's side seat belt, 14mm. And the passenger side with the one marked center facing the center seat. Next, install the passenger side seat with your 12mm bolts. Snap your covers on. Now do the driver's side seat. And lastly, just reinstall this side frame by pushing it down. All right, and that's about it. The Camry is now one step closer to running. As always, I'll include torque specs, part numbers, any other relevant information in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.